As we are nearing the end of this playlist, so let us implement this state on this add movies component. So we have this dot props. So this dot props refers to all of the props that this add movie component over here receives from other components or from the GraphQL query as well. And what these props will be, this query over here, so we have add movies, and this will take arguments. So this will take an object as an argument, and that will be a variable, and that variable will be an object. Okay, we have this variables object over here. Now this will take all of the name, the genre and the year from the user or from the input, and it will have a variable's name, and this name will be equal to this dot props dot name, referring to the name over here. So we have the name, the genre. As for now, we can leave them empty just to see if it works or not. We have the name, genre and the year. Later we are going to update this through the state. So now let us set the state. We have state equals an object, and that object will contain key value pairs. So we have the name, and this will be empty as for now. The genre empty as well, and the year, yes, you guessed it, it is also empty for now, just for practical purposes. So we have this state over here. Now all the manipulation of this component will be done through state. So we have the name, and this will not longer be an empty string, but we have this dot state dot name. So this refers to the name over here, state. So we have the genre as this dot state dot name, referring to whatever the state genre has in. So this refers to this dot state dot year, referring to the year which is initialized in the state. So we have these three props over here coming directly from the state, and these should not be null. This should change according to whatever the user inputs inside the input form. So the state will change. The state name, genre and the year will have the values that are coming from the events which are fired upon input change. So below we have input, so console.log. Let us remove this console.log. We don't need practicals over here. So we have this dot, referring to this component, set state. Now this will set the state or change the state according to the event dot target dot value. So whatever the input field value has, it will change the value according to that inside the state. So we have this dot set state parenthesis, and we have the genre, and for the year we have the year. Okay, so now what we have done, we have activated onChange handler, and what this will do, this will extract that movie, and it will set the current state of the movie, that is null as for now, and it will set that movie with whatever the user inputs. Same for the genre and same for the year. So you can think of this, whenever the form has some values inside it, we can get this inside our component and update the state according to that. So let us check if it works or not. Okay, so we have this working fine, state year. Okay, inside the console we don't have any errors. Okay, so if I type something inside the name AAA and then add, okay, this error, unexpected error, this dot props dot add movie is not a function. Why this is not a function? This dot props dot add movies, this thing over here is not a function. It shows the error over here. So we have something like flow.write, import flow.write as compose. So now what this will do, this will bind the query just like the GraphQL but with an advanced type. So we have import flow.write as compose from lodash. So we have to import this npm package lodash. So we have inside the console npm I lodash. Okay, it is installing. So the benefit of compose is that it can bind multiple queries multiple queries from the backend to the frontend component. So now we have this compose from the lodash, flow.write as compose. So let us copy this compose thing over here, copy compose, So inside the last line we have the GraphQL add movie. We don't need any more GraphQL. We are not binding with the GraphQL. We have the compose. So we have compose, and this compose will take arguments, and what these arguments will be, these will be queries which are to be binded to the front end. So we have the compose, and then the first GraphQL, we have this add movie referring to this add movie over here from the GQL, so this GraphQL query, and what this query will be named, or what this query will look like inside the props. So we have the name as not loaded, sorry, we have add movies. So this GraphQL add movie will be named as add movie inside the props of this component add movie. Okay, sounds confusing, but I will show you inside the console. Okay, so now we have this npm start, so that now our add movie component should receive some props, namely add movie. Okay, so inside the console we have this. When I type name a, okay, genre a, okay. Now when I hit enter, you will see nothing over here, but inside the MongoDB you will see a movie. So let us check in MongoDB Atlas. Now refresh the document. Okay, refreshing. Now you will see a movie with this. Okay, so now if I can hit the inside the GraphQL queries for all movies, if I can search for all movies query over here, movies, now you will see the latest movie added from the form from the front end. So we are successfully adding the movies from the front end, and now comes to the part of rendering that movies. Okay, we are done with adding that movies, but that movie is not rendered to our front end. So inside this add movies, we are going to make a new query. So that we can extract all of the movies, even the new ones we have added recently. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to remove this query from here so that I can have queries in a separate folder and the components inside the separate folder, just to make a separation. Okay, so we have this add movies, Control X, and inside the source component we have a new folder named as queries. Okay, inside the queries we have queries.js. So we have the const GQL equals require from React Apollo. Okay, this is a named import. So we have this Apollo boost from React Apollo. Copy this. Always make a mistake for GQL. So we have this all movies. Remove it from here and paste it over here. Simple. So we have copied one over here. Let us export this. Export default, and the name will be all movies, just like that. So we have removed this. We don't need you. Okay, we have the GraphQL, fine. All movies not defined. Okay, so we have this import all movies. We have to import that query from the queries folder. So we have this all movies from / queries, where is queries, and then queries.js. Okay, so now we have, okay, inside the all movies we have this query over here, and it is imported inside the movie component. So what we have the add movie, Control X, we don't need you as well, paste it over here. So now we have both of our queries, the GraphQL queries, inside the query folder. So we have all movies, and we are also exporting add movies. Both of these queries are exported. So let us import add movies, add movie from / queries, and then where is queries, q queries, and then queries.js file. Okay, this add movie is referring to this movie over here. Okay, so we have this add movie and the name add movie. So now this shows add movie is not exported from, why? Add movies, because this is not a name default. It should be a default import. This must not be a named import. This is my default component, so I have default import. So removing parentheses, so we are removing braces from there. So we have GQL is defined, never use. Okay, let us remove the single line over here. So now it is working all fine. Now let us add the second application or the second query of the GraphQL, which will extract all of the movies, even the new ones I added, from this query or from this component add movie. So what do we have here inside this add movies? We have a value like refetch queries. So what do we have? A comma, and then we have a variable name or a value. We have refetch queries that will refetch the queries or that will send the queries. Okay, so we have the array. Inside the array we have the query, and the name of the query will be add movie. This add movie, all movies, this all movies over here, so all of the movies will be extracted. Okay, so we have this all movies coming from here. Okay, what is this? All movies query, and then we have the all movies over here. So now we have set the state, we have handled the submit movie. This is for the form. Whenever we hit the add movie button, okay, so we have submit movie. This is working all fine. Okay, we have the name, genre, and the year. We have the form, and we have successfully binding not both of them. Okay, so we are to bind the second query over here. So we have the comma, GraphQL, and similarly like this, copy paste. We have the add movie, but this will be all movies, so that this component can use both of the queries, one for adding and one for refetching. Now please don't shout at me, I always make this mistake. It is default export. Okay, so just to avoid my habit of these braces over here in the default export, I'm going to remove this default, make it a named import. Okay, so we have this import over here. Inside the movies, all movies should be a named import. Okay, this is not default, and now we are working fine. Okay, so now let us check, refresh, and what we have in console? Nothing, a cookie error, ignore that. So now before adding the movie, you see we have this AAA movies over here. So now let us remove this, delete this movie. Okay, if I go to the GraphQL, refresh the query, we don't have. Okay, AAA, refresh, this must be gone. Okay, it is gone now. So we are going to add genuine movies over here. So we have John Wick. Okay, we have the genre as fiction, not action every time. We have the fiction, and the year is 2095. Add the movie, and you will see this movie has been added. So now what is done? The query is fired when I click the add movie. The movie is added, it is stored inside the MongoDB, and after it is stored inside the MongoDB, the all movies query is refetched, and that this new movie is refetched for the front end. Okay, so now we have this John Wick, okay, fiction, and then 2095 over here. So inside the MongoDB, let us delete some of these movies. Let us delete this John Wick. Okay, John Wick 5. Okay, so now we have just 4 movies over here, John Wick 1, 2, Parabellum, and then John Wick 4. So inside the movie maker, if I refresh, you will see 4 movies over here, 1, 2, Parabellum, and then 4. If I add a movie with John Wick or something like John Weekly, and then the action genre is the action, let us keep it action at least. We have the year as 2077. If I add the movie, you will see the movie added over here, John Weekly, action, and 27. Another movie, John Whoop. Okay, let us make interesting. John Whoop, genre is action, it is coming in 2099. Hold your hands. John Whoop, action in 2029. So all of these movies which I'm adding from right here, the form over here, this add movies form over here, are rendering perfectly and beautifully to our front-end application over here. So we have integrated both of our queries to our component, to the add movie component, and it is working fine. In the next video, we will wrap this project by adding some of the functionalities or some final touches to this project, and I will see you over there. Thank you.